Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back, and welcome to HTC Developer Day. This is Tony. I'm in charge of VibeWave technical support. Today, I'm going to share what is Wave SDK, and also how we build up the standalone ecosystem through the VibeWave platform. Please allow me to briefly introduce about myself. Almost 4 years ago, when I worked as a Vibe software PM, at that moment, there were just less than 15 VR titles on the market for the demo. Then we realized that content is the king. That's why you and I are here. Then HTC has started its internal studio, which later became the Vibe Studio. We have successfully launched 2 VR titles on Steam and also Viveport. Arcade Saga, a futuristic sports game, and the Super Puzzles Galaxy, a puzzle game. I'm also proud to be part of the creative team of Smash, which is selected into Ready Player One OSS version. Now let's talk about what is VibeWave. Or maybe we need to ask why we need VibeWave. May I ask how many people here you already start the implementation on VibeWave platform? Please raise your hand. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. Yeah, we need to work harder. Here is the market research data collected by our internal marketing team. So you can see that there were more than 400 helmets in the market, and we believe the number are even larger in 2019. This implies that the market is fragmentation. In the past years, we heard lots of complaints and pain points from developers that the market is fragmentation and lack of standard. All the hardware are not compatible, and there are so many SDKs. So the nightmares of the developers is to porting repeatedly across different platforms. There is always a chicken and egg issue. On one side, that developers are looking for a huge platform with larger user interface, so that to ensure you can earn the money back. On the other side, that the end customers are asking what's the killer apps from the platform. HTC, as an ecosystem contributor, we try to establish a open VR platform to support different mobile CPU solutions. For example, Qualcomm and other chipset vendors. So developers can do less customization and enjoy the high performance from the platform. You just need to concentrate your content creation and no need to take care the difference between the different devices and the helmets. VibeWave is the platform to connect between developers and the hardware partners to enrich the ecosystem. Through the VibeWave, the developer, you can deploy your content into as many as hardware devices to enjoy more benefit. For the hardware partner, you can leverage the resource from the developers to provide a better service for your end customers. Here is the scope of Wave SDK. So the core of the SDK is the runtime, which is integrated with Qualcomm, Snapdragon, and also other chipsets. And to support different device maker, no matter it's 3-DoF, 6-DoF controller, or even in the future, it's eye tracking on hand or hand gesture devices. We provide an open interface to support different devices for the compatibility. To support different system makers, no matter it's from standalone, mobile tethered, or mobile slot-in, we provide an OEM SDK to allow that different system makers, they can customize the system behavior according to their product design without to change the runtime. Therefore, the developers can use our game engine and only focus the content creation and no need to take care the variance of devices and hair mount. Let's look more closer from software architecture perspective. All the SDK applications are based on the Android framework, so it's all installable. There is an open interface to define and support different devices and peripherals. Device maker, they can implement a device service and plug in into our runtime. We adapt a client and server architecture design, so it's doable, flexible, and extendable. Moreover, there is a standardized SDK interface with Qualcomm Snapdragon SVR to service more hardware partners. Here are the main features inside the SDK. Besides the SDK interface we just mentioned, to support different developers, we provide a Unity plugin, Unreal plugin, and also native API. There is a 2D overlay function for the system notification. And you also can have a virtual world control to do the security for the user safety control. Later, I will explain more what is our advancing rendering, such as single pass rendering and forfeited rendering. And we will also show how we manage between 3-DOF and 6-DOF controller. Moreover, we will show you some examples how we use the camera image to do several applications. And lastly, auto key mapping is a feature to support different devices. In order to provide better VR experience, we have several key features in our runtime. Single pass rendering can help to reduce the draw code and save the CPU time. And we adapt the forfeit rendering technology to help to improve the performance. And tracking prediction can help you to shrink the DC issue. And we also adapt the ATW to help to reduce the post latency. In addition, there is a 2D overlay function for text and also system notification. We also provide a config file to do the lens correction. So you can do the color and distortion quality tuning according to your different lens characteristics. So let's talk more deeper from the first part, OEM SDK. An OEM SDK is a system of our runtime, which allows that different system maker, they can define the different system behavior according to their product define without the change in the runtime. For example, if a system maker A, they are developing a standalone project like a light focus, so they can design to do the recenter function to recenter controller and also hair mount simultaneously. And for another case, another system maker B, if they are developing another project on the mobile CPU base, so they can just design to recenter the controller only by their product design. And here is another example to show that even the system behavior can be customized. For example, if the user presses the home button, you can design to either pop up a second menu to launch the multiple function, or you can just design to return to the home screen. And the look and feel of the overlay can also be customized. The second part, the plugin kit. Plugin kit is an open plugin interface to support different devices, no matter it's 3-DOF, 6-DOF controller, eye tracking, hand gesture, and also the various HMD types. So device maker and hardware partner, they need to implement a device service, then plug in into our runtime for the content usage. And currently, we already integrate with several 3DOF and 6DOF controllers, plus the different HMD types from standalone, mobile tethered, and mobile slot-in. And today, we are very happy to share the milestone of ViveWave. Besides the ViveFocus adapt the ViveWave, we have engaged several key partners. For example, Pico with their Pico Neo and Pico G2 product. And also we have iQIYI, Skywords, Shadow Creator, and our new partner, Dapeng, with their product DPVR. And today we are honored to invite the Vice President of the Vice President from Pico and the co-founder from Dapeng to share the testimonies on ViveWave later. And on the mobile slot-in solutions, we have integrated with Link and also door gadget, glass gadget. And the mobile slot-in solutions, we have verified on the HTC U12 and also the Google Pixel series. We believe that the more hardware partners we engage, the user base are growing, then the developers can enjoy more profit and more benefit from the platform. And it's a very good positive loop. So let's move to the third part, the game engine part. And we defined 4 categories in our game engine part. So later I will show some key features in our game engine, from the interaction, rendering, and additions. So in developer, you cannot find the proper API inside our plugin. You can directly call our low-level API for your implementation. And in our SDK package, you can find each project sample code for each features. In ViveFocus, there is a dual camera in front of the hair mount to provide a raw data for your implementation. So here is the case. For example, that Vive paper is one of the applications that use camera to do the gesture recognition. For example, like a page up, page down, and also trigger or play something. So later we will also have a section to introduce more about the Vive paper. Also in ViveFocus, we enable a see-through function. So it helps to switch between real world and the virtual world. In addition, we have a power developer from Germany who has a project on the GitHub for the MR investigation. And let's explain how we manage between 3DOF and 6DOF controller. In current design, in our 3DOF controller design, so we use the ARM model to simulate the 6DOF precision data. So once the real 6DOF controller is ready on the market, so in your application, we will automatically transfer the real data into your app. For example, in current 3DOF mode, so you will see one hand and one controller inside your app. So when you connect it with real 2 6DOF controllers, so in your app, you will receive 2 hands information. So it will automatically render 2 hands in your application without you to rebuild your app. Adaptive control mode loader. Think about if your application is implemented with the black controller. So for the publishing. So maybe half years later, when there is a new white controller model coming on the market, since this new model already registered into our runtime, So our runtime will automatically to notice your application site. So in your application, you can see that the new white model will automatically be generated and rendering inside the app without you to rebuild your app. And we have received lots of requests to support a single pass rendering. And today we are very happy we have supported it in our latest version. So in previous, the multi-pass rendering, it requires render from left eyes then to the right eyes. So in latest single pass rendering, we use a single draw code to render both red eye and right eyes together. So it also helps to reduce the CPU time and increase the performance. So we provide the option for you either to select multi-pass or single pass, depends on your content creation. The forfeit rendering definition is to render a high resolution when the user is looking at, and the rest area with the low resolution. So you can see from the upper side, it's a unforfeited rendering, so it's a uniform resolution on the whole scene. And when we enable a forfeit rendering, you can see there is a blue effect on the outer area. So it helps to receive the GPU loading and increase the performance. And in near future, when the eye tracking device is ready, we will integrate into our runtime. So currently, we support the fixed forfeit rendering. So include the different parameters from position information, angle of FOV, and also different quality setting from low, middle to the high. Lastly, auto key mapping. As you know that each controller vendor may provide different key definitions. For example, in 3-DOF controller, some will support the trigger button and others with bumpers. And it's the same situation on the 6-DOF controller. So you will find some with joystick and others with the touchpad. So we try to provide a mechanism to help the application to do the auto mapping. So support that your application can run among these different devices. So let's see how it works. So firstly, your application needs to request what's the demand your application needs to use, what key you need to use from the prefab setting. And secondly, let each device maker, they need to declare the capability to the runtime. And once the runtime collected this information together, so we will use a mapping logic to transfer the proper key to your application. For example, all the events from the touchpad will be transferred to all the events to the joystick. And this is our SDK future roadmap. And this demonstrates that HTC is committed to integrate up-to-date technology into our runtime to enrich the ecosystem. We are going to support the eye tracking, hand gesture, and the spatial audio and room scale with 6-DOF. And we also investigating more application on the AR and MR, also with 3D reconstruction. So to sum up, that ViveWave is a platform to support the VR runtime and also support different HND types. Also, it provides an easy content interface for you to porting easily. And moreover, there is an open device plugin to support different devices. And it provides a complete VR function and also compatible with Qualcomm Snapdragon. And here are the resources for you to download SDK and also the online document. And we invite you to join our forum. There are over 1,500 of post discussion on the forum. Okay, everybody take a photo. So please come and join us on the Vive wave. Thanks for your listening. So now I will invite Dario on the stage, so we will have a short Q&A.
Thanks, Tony. So we're going to take questions. So if you can step up to the microphone if you have any questions. Don't be shy.
Thanks for presenting that. There's a lot of really cool stuff in there. I was curious what kind of plans or roadmap you guys had for profiling tools. I know Snapdragon has some of its own profiling support. We've used RenderDoc on the PC for profiling, and I was curious if there's any work or plans to do like RenderDoc integration, that sort of thing. I know on mobile it's important that you get as much performance as you can get.
Yeah, we always point to the one you just mentioned, not the RenderDoc one.
Oh, the Snapdragon profiler?
Yeah, Snapdragon profiler. Is there news for the render profiler?
Yep.
There is?
It's still under planning.
Yeah. We're still planning to support that one.
Just a quick question about the mixed reality that was mentioned. Is that things such as the HoloLens and that sort of thing that are being planned on being integrated, or?
Yeah, it's under planning, and you have access to the front-facing cameras as of now. So we've had developers actually go ahead and try to implement some AR.
Okay, cool.
Just a quick question about your framework. Does your framework accept any contributions from the third parties?
Do we accept contributions from third parties?
Yes. You have already offered a wide spectrum of functionalities, but if there's any other function missing which could be contributed by any other third parties, does your framework support it?
We're certainly open to any recommendations, suggestions. You can reach us through the forums if you have a good idea.
Okay. Yeah.
You can also look through the Unity, or you can look through the scripts themselves because they're kind of open, but it's not hosted as open source yet. Any other questions?
You want to invite me?
All right, so we have a second half to this. We have a panel, and I'd like to invite my esteemed colleague, Lee Momi, up to the stage. She's going to moderate the panel. If you want to.
All right, hi everyone. You can hear me all right? All right, so we're gonna move into the panel portion of our standalone wave ecosystem session. I have a number of guest panelists here who all have introduced themselves, but first I wanted to state what we wanted to accomplish today and with this panel and what we want you to walk away from this with. So Wave launched over a year ago in China. That was the first market. And then it launched globally at the end of last year to the rest of the world. So our objective with our time here today is to share some of the thinking about how mobile VR has and will continue to change the way we look at developing content. We will achieve this by discussing a variety of topics as related to the Wave ecosystem. So first, for introductions, let me introduce myself. My name is Lee Momi. I'm based in the Seattle Vive office, and I lead mobile VR content for Viveport. I work with content developers, having them engage with our team, enabling them to get access to their resources, tools, and support to build amazing VR content. And specifically to be distributed on Viveport and to get more downloads and more users engaging with their content. So now I'd like to move to our panel introductions. I want to have each of our panelists introduce themselves, a little bit about their company. So Pedro, let's start with you.
Perfect. Hope you guys can hear me. My name is Pedro Caiat. I'm an independent developer from Brazil. I'm the co-founder of VR Monkey. We are a company that has been doing VR since 2013, since we got our first hands on some developer kits. I developed games for more than 10 years. I stopped counting after 10 years because it seems enough. And in fact, I love VR. Like the first time I got my hands on VR, I realized that that could be a platform to make it a lot of our dreams true. You know, the gaming as a ultimate experience, but not only gaming. It's a platform that makes a lot of things possible. My background, I'm a master engineer in computer engineer. I'm a master. That's basically me. I used to develop a lot. Now I do a lot of management in my company. Basically that.
Is it?
Karen, go ahead.
I'm Karen from Pico. Actually, Pico formed 4 years ago, and we are really focusing on the standalone mobile VR. Because when we first started this company, we do believe the future of VR, AR, and it definitely will bring difference to the human's life. And when we think about our product and solution, we thought that the mobile solution is definitely the future. It's for more people, for normal people to use. So that is why we basically all the way focusing on the mobile VR. And I think 2 years ago, we launched the Goblin 1 to the market. And then last year, we launched the G2 with a 3K resolution. And this coming next week, we're going to officially launch the 4K solution, 4K HMD to the market. You're more than welcome to try on our booth in the South Hall and to see what 4K can really bring the difference to VR world. And that's it. That's pretty much for Pico.
Hello. Hello, everyone. This is Liang from DPVR. Thanks to Raymond's invitation. So DPVR actually is new for Wave the ecosystem. We just joined the ecosystem, and we are very happy. So DPVR is one of the earliest VR technology company in China. So I think lots of developers are aware of us by DPON, because we use the DPON as our company name before. So DPVR has two categories product lines. One is PC, another one is all-in-one. Actually, I think the world first all-in-one machine developed by DPON, by DPVR, actually was first launched at the GDC 2016, I think 3 more years ago. So I think we are very happy to be staying in the Wave ecosystem and to contribute to the developers through the cooperation with the Wave, because I think it's very important we have some kind of unified platform. So I think it's very easy for foreign developers to win the China market. So I would like to talk about more with you later. Yeah.
Thank you. So to set the stage, before we begin, can each of you talk about what your investment with Wave is or is going to be, and really just, what kind of things that we're going to see from you when it comes to the Wave ecosystem? Obviously, with you two being device manufacturers and OEMs, and Pedro, you being a content developer, you have different investments in the platform, but Karen, let's start with you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Actually, I think by the end of the year 2017, actually HTC senior management team, like Steve and other people, a team of ATCs visited our office. He said we can collaborate. And in my mind, it's are you kidding? We're competitors. Yes. But actually, after the interpretation, they share their long-term vision and a long-term commitment in this in VR area. And of course, actually all of us responsibility to make the VR better and more acceptable to the market. Of course, everyone might find that when you really randomly to check up to the normal people, like most of them, it's maybe up 90% of them have no idea what VR is, and not to mention what is the most updated status of VR can do. It's the whole industry is developing too fast, and so I think that is the right direction. And our product plus the Vive platform store can definitely deliver better or more content to our audience. So, and we started the collaboration since year 2017. And I think it turns out it's what we can enjoy because we have like 2 generations of product collaboration, and we definitely benefit from this collaboration to deliver better experience to the users. Yeah, and also jointly, we do see the growth from the user base. That is a really positive trend. Yeah.
Pedro or Leon?
Yeah. So actually, I think everybody here see the big challenge for VR ecosystem is the fragmentation. Fragmentation, I think, is a big challenge for VR ecosystem, especially including AI as well. Because from hardware, we are headset provider from our perspective. So we think everybody is build operating system or software based on the Android. So far today, for Android-based all-in-one, so everybody are making their own Android operating system or Android for VR operating system. So it means a huge, big fragmentation. So I think the bigger problem for developers is what standard that I should follow. So it is some kind of the fragmentation from technical side, and there are another fragmentation from markets, because we are from China. So from my experience, from DPVR experience, we have very good market share for VR arcade. I think today here are most of the developers for game developers. So if we look at VR, in addition to consumer market, there is a big market for commercial as well. For commercial market, there is very good market for VR arcade for gaming. So if we look at the VR arcade market, the fragmentation is huge. So different device, different SDK for different devices. Like that. You see the bigger car with the 8 people with headset to play the game in the meanwhile. So lots of different device with lots different brands the headset. VR arcade market has good revenue actually, but the fragmentation is big. So it's just example. So I think Wave SDK is good choice for us, especially. So for our plan, so we are going to build a very close cooperation with Vive to build to work together to build the unified platform, not for mobile VR, but for PC, to cover the VR arcade and also education, training, some commercial use cases as well. So it's some of my ideas. Yeah.
Thank you.
From the point of content creator, it's not hard to understand that it's hard to sell VR, right? Who here is developing for VR? Okay, a lot of people. I do believe any of you guys have problems selling VR because there are too many clients yet. Nobody? Everybody's selling good? No, right? Exactly. It's a tough market. I believe everybody here in the room also believes that VR is the future, but there is no much people that still share our vision about that. I used to say that's the same idea of trying to explain to someone that has never seen a television Like they just know radio, for instance. And then you say, oh, you know what is a television? It's like a lot of pictures moving. Doesn't make sense. VR is the same. Like you must try to understand the deepness of VR. It doesn't matter if you are just talking about VR. You need to put it on the headset on the heads of the people. So that's the matter. Like we need to have access for more people and to have different kind of operational systems, stores. It just make the things harder. Like I used to work with feature phone gaming, feature phones before smartphones. We used to port the games for, I don't know, 250 devices. It was not an easy task. It was hard and spent a lot of money. And I'm really afraid that VR world could be the same. So the Wave is one way that we could unify that. So we are saving resource for the developers. A lot of us are in developers without like the pockets. So that's good for us. It's cheap. And also we have something that we know that works, because that's a trouble as well. When we are working with VR, a lot of plugins and stuff is still experimental. So it's good to have some people that has tried it before, you know.
Great, thank you. So Karen, what new device features are you adding to standalone HMDs, and how are you considering content developers when adding new features or planning for new features?
Yeah, because from the mobile solution nowadays, most two main direction we're talking about is a 3DoF and a 6DoF. And we found on the, from the foundation point of view, actually resolution, because, although when we talk about virtual reality, it's a definitely overall experiences, including visual, including the interaction, and even the acoustic experiences. But we have to admit that resolution is a kind of a very basic experience, and start from the visual experiences. That is why we really, actually we have seen the improvement from the resolution definitely bring the immediate difference to the users. So actually last year we launched our 3K resolution headset to the market, and immediately, actually we've got a demo at our booth for 4K resolution HMD, and that will be launched to the market end of this month, so it's very soon. So it's can immediately see, because when last year we launched the 3K resolution HMD to the market, we immediately see the customer satisfaction improvement, and also the more user base and more acting user time. It's happened immediately after this product. So I think the high resolution is definitely a more meaningful direction, and that is where we're going to go in. And of course, it's for this generation of product, this is it's still 3DoF. I know a lot of developers are really looking forward to the 6DoF solution. That will, like Pedro, we shared yesterday, he is kind of desperately looking forward to that solution. But considering of the maturity of the technology and also the cost will be paid by the users, I think it's in some short and maybe midterm future, it's a 3DoF and a 6DoF will be in parallel. And the 3DoF might still be the very introductory device for the normal users to know what VR it really is. So, and for the developers, I think it's besides the 6DoF can unleash a lot of your capability or imagination or planning about the game. And probably you still can think about how to deliver the VR fun to the introductory level of users, might be the broader user base. So that is what we are really looking forward to. You need to think in parallel with this too. And that is could be run in parallel for quite a time of period from our opinion, yeah.
Okay, cool. And Leon, how about with DPVR? How are you considering content developers?
Yeah. So yeah, I think, so Karen just mentioned something I agree. So from technically and from the hardware specifications, and also I would like to see how to make developers to be successful in business is also very important because so Pico and DPVR we were founded maybe the five more years ago. So we see the curve, the development curve of the VR industry to top, to bottom, and now I think it's going up steadily. But the very important thing today, for us today to talk about is how to make sure every developer can be easily to be successful in business. So it's what I think about more today, especially for DPVR. Because as we just mentioned, fragmentation from the market and also lots of the different requirements from the market is very important. So is what we need to think about and to deal with. The first, today we are working with Wave for our new generation, the mobile VR headset, which is named the P2, which will be powered by Qualcomm world first the VR chipset XR1, which is very good as a mobile VR processor dedicated for VR use case because it use the same architecture as the Qualcomm Snapdragon 845, but the cost is almost similar as a Qualcomm Snapdragon 821. So it's very good as a chipset for mobile VR. So it's a product that we are working with Wave right now. So it will be available soon and maybe in actually in April for market already. So what I want to say is we are looking forward to working with Wave to contribute our experience. For example, not just get from Wave directly.
Sure.
Actually, Wave ecosystem can benefit us, but we want to contribute to Wave ecosystem as well, according to our experience, our knowledge. For example, we have good knowledge for VR arcade and also for education, for training, but we want to contribute for game developers, for VR arcade. I think it's good market, but how to make sure you can get money from the VR arcade market, and also how to make sure you get the right requirements for VR arcade. For the games for VR arcade, they are different from the games for consumer because for VR arcade, normally, take example, it will make the player to learn how to play the game within 1 or 2 minutes. You cannot make your game very complicated. So because for VR arcade, the people come in, they just have the 1 or 2 minutes to know how to play it. So we need to work with developers. We need to work with the platform to make sure our different developers understand exactly what will be needed by the dedicated commercial market, including arcade, education, trading, and as well. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think is what I want to share with developers, and I think I don't want to make it seem complicated because now we are working with Wave. So maybe for developers, it will be easy. You just make sure your content can support Wave's SDK smoothly, perfectly, so everything will be done. So it's what I'm looking forward to working with Wave to resolve it.
Thank you. And Pedro, as representing content developers, how do you work new features into your content?
I'm really excited about this year. I think this year we're gonna see a lot of things regarding 6DOF in VR, standalone devices. We're gonna have like 6DOF really getting to the hands of people different from what it was. Just a few people before could afford a system to have real 6DOF VR. And now we are having 6DOF standalones launching. The interaction with 6DOF controllers are going to be similar interactions that we have in high-tier VR, and that's going to be changing everything. Like, I understand that these new devices that are coming, they are not going to be just entertainment systems. They're going to really be game systems. The focus is going to change. and that's a lot. Also, the resolution is very important, but imagine if we had this 4K resolution before with the mobile processor that we had. That's kind of hell for a developer, because we would not have the performance that we want to make something really runs great on that. But we have now full feature render that it's working pretty well. We can take a lot off from that, because you can make really beautiful just on the center of the vision, and the perfect alpha vision just a little bit blurry, and still we get a much better looking game doing that, even in mobile VR, in like standalones, compared to what we used to have. Like I would say that games now in standalone 6DOF, they would really match the performance that we got on the first games that we launched on PC VR before. And that's what makes me really excited, because the price drop is going to be something that will make it affordable for the people. It's going to change a lot this next year. I'm excited.
Me too. Thank you. So as you know, Viveport is our content distribution platform, and Viveport for mobile runs on Focus, Focus Plus, and all of our Wave partner standalone devices. Leon, can you tell me about how Viveport has or will continue to help your business going forward?
And I would like to say for interactive, so today, so I think the major interactive for mobile VR is the 3DOF controllers. And I know the HTC team is working on the 6DOF. So I think it's very important for Wave. So my expectation is I'm looking forward to the Wave to build some application standard for 6DOF. Next, 3DOF is easy, but for 6DOF, I think we need some standard for application content developers. It's very important. So before we have this kind of standard, so every headset providers will develop their own the 6DOF or 6DOF the solutions. So I think it's good. But if we look at in interactive method input ways, so I think it's something about the standard, not just the technical. So I would like to take the Leap Motion as an example. Leap Motion, the gesture controlling technology is very good. So actually, we know them 5 more years ago, because they were that time they were looking at the TV, smart TV. But even for this kind of good the technology, today if we look at the gesture interactive way, there are very, very few applications. So I would say the king of success of some kind of interactive methods is about application, it's about the ecosystem. So who will be right person, who will be right party to do or to make some kind of a standard is what I want to work with Wave for the near future. So I have some conversation with Raymond or some my Vive friends, so to talk about how to work together for the 6DOF together. So it's my idea, but I think it's very important for us to build some kind of the common standard for 6DOF, because we all believe the 6DOF will head 6DOF and hand 6DOF will be the future. But we do need some kind of standard. We don't want the fragmentations. Yeah, right. It's what I'm really looking forward to.
Thank you. And Karen, how does Viveport help Pico's business?
Yeah, because we have collaborated with Viveport for more than 1 year.
Right. Yeah.
And of course, the Vive already showed a long-term commitment to the ecosystem. And from my point of view, I tried our new product. I thought it's already very acceptable hardware. So and when the last generation product launched, we already see the user base increase, the user time is getting longer. And so I think on top of that, we're really looking forward to better content. And what is the good introductory content to the more broader audience that is the current existing questions to all of us. So it's a better collaboration with Vive. We are looking forward to to have the better content. We kind of already seeing the curve that just a very meaningful improvement from the content or product itself can really drive the number going higher. So I'm not sure if any developers have ever put their content to the Pico platform. As long as you have ever put any content to the G2, our existing product in the market, you definitely can see the growth. And because I think Vive already see that downloads is going up. So we really have confidence about the new generation of a product, but we do need the older developer to start to think what is the immediate fine from VR for the regular people.
Right, thank you. All right, so I'm gonna move here to the last questions. We have some time for Q&A. So the big question is for you, predictions. What important new mobile trend will we be seeing this year, 2019, which will then be a topic at next year's GDC? So a chance for all of you to share your thoughts.
Yeah, that's a hard question because everybody here wants to predict the future, and if we could do something like that, everybody here would be rich, right? But anyway, I think the trends are pretty clear. We will have better resolutions. We will have better interactions. We still are to see some clear application, even if Beat Saber is amazing. Who hasn't played any kind of Beat Saber? It's really good. But still, we are discovering how to interact in VR. It's a new thing. A lot has been done. I think from the last year to this year, local-based VR are something that become true. Like, if you think about before, our company entered the Viveport platform just because we knew that some local-based VR were getting subscriptions from Viveport to release the titles. And I said, okay, that's a good idea. Let's be together with these guys because we need money. Everybody needs money, right? I think the biggest trend different is gonna be that the standalones. Like, as I said before, who here has played at least once laser tag? Wouldn't it be much better to have it on VR? But the costs today, they don't really add up. I do see that next year we're gonna see laser tag with standalone VRs everywhere. This is gonna change a lot, and in my opinion, they're gonna be like crazy kind of different interactions, like a medieval laser tag with people use VR with controllers to ask themselves. I don't know, some ideas there. I do believe that's gonna be the biggest difference. Like, we understand VR, closed space right now. You have the room scale. We're gonna see warehouse scale in most of the applications.
Great, thank you. Karen, let's hear your predictions.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, I think this year is pretty clear, and more better hardware gonna be introduced, like better resolution, better interaction. I think after this year, I think a very acceptable hardware or more mobile solution will be in the market. And then next year, I think it's some really, I won't say kidding, but I think more exciting content will be out there. And of course, maybe some from you. And because Beat Saber is I think it's one of the biggest success in VR field. And I think the successful of Beat Saber probably should be, really understood why Beat Saber is so successful, because that is fun really from VR. It's not from any traditional media, like just translated, an old game be translated into the VR game. It's a pure VR game. It's a pure VR fun. So with the qualified hardware product, I think it's next year could be more exciting content out there. And also another possibility is a more exciting thing is a kind of what the AR will be introduced into this field. And also, if it is possible for the new action way could be introduced, like hand gesture. That could be all possibilities. But I think the most exciting thing is we do looking forward to the exciting content will be released next year.
Great, thank you. Leon?
For the future, I think I would like to take the mobile phone. I would like to take the development of this mobile phone as example. So actually, mobile VR will be, I think, likely that thing as similar as a mobile phone. So the first thing is for the future, for the near future, is 5G. I think nobody can ignore the 5G, right? So I think 5G will change. I think it will speed up. I think the correct expression will be it will speed up the development of VR, especially for mobile VR. So we should consider not of the factors caused by 5G. So actually today in China, we are actively co-working with the telecom operators to deploy the cloud VR. Today is cloud VR for wider bandwidth, and maybe next year for cloud VR with 5G. So I think 5G, every developers, including us, should consider it. And another thing is I think it will be like the mobile smartphone, the ecosystem. For the future, I think in the world, there will be some kind of two ecosystems for mobile VR. One is East, another one is West, like a mobile phone. So I think my expectation is for East mobile VR ecosystem and for West mobile VR ecosystem, there will be some kind of bridge.
Right.
The bridge will be Vive and us. Yeah.
Great, thank you. All right, thank you, panelists, for giving us a peek into the health of the Wave ecosystem. And wanted to go to some Q&A here to give you guys a chance to ask our panelists any questions. So if there's anyone.
Hey, thanks so much for all your feedback you guys have given so far. Pedro, I had a question for you. As a VR dev myself, I'm excited to see about the huge coverage of devices that are there, but it also fills me with terror because there's now a huge number of devices I have to test for. And so there's many strategies to deal with that. You can try to build for the lowest common denominator and then have settings to scale up. You could have settings for down sampling, whatever your content's doing, et cetera. Or you can say, I'm only going to allow for a limited subset of those. And I'm curious what strategies you use in your games.
Well, we have been using a strategy that we build our games for standalone, and they have a pipeline driven it higher to go to the 6DOF platforms. Now with the new trends, we are really trying to interpret that to put on the design stage the 6DOF interactions already, since we understand that's going to be a default for some devices that are going to be rising right now. So our strategy is to try to reach as many customers as we can. We do use Unreal Engine for most of our development, and we develop an internal pipeline that it doesn't make it so hard to port our games to other platforms, but still it's very important to notice that on the design phase. Otherwise, you're gonna try to make a game that doesn't work pretty well and doesn't scale pretty well as well.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for our panelists? No? Good.
No question?
Last chance. Can't tell if this is on. Okay. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Your answers were really interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was awesome.